Welcome to the Bait Boys Podcast, the only show that's brave enough to ask the hard-hitting questions like, if fish had podcasts, would they talk about us? My name is Jesse with Freek Baits Custom Fishing Lures, and as always, I am joined by my dignified co-hosts, Anthony from Lazy Baits Co. and Trevor from Peak Baits. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Good. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Couldn't be doing any better. Anyway, we're also joined by Mike. Mike is the brainchild behind Johnny Creek Baits. You may or may not be familiar with Johnny Creek Baits, but if you're not, you definitely should be. Some great offerings currently from Johnny Creek, and from what I hear, some stuff on the horizon that we may talk about a little bit later. But Mike, how are you doing this evening?
Probably a little bit warmer than all of you guys, but I'm pretty good. It's and it's not. I don't know if it's even evening yet here. You guys are all later than I am. It's 4 o'clock. Feels like middle of the day in California here.
Oh, geez. Ooh. Yeah. It's
yeah.
It's the day's only halfway through for you.
Feels like it.
Jesse, I'm glad you didn't call him Matt.
I'm glad I didn't call him Matt either. It's I've got his name right here in front of me, so I don't do that again.
It's probably all over your screen, Mike.
I'm going to break the cycle for this one. Well, we had a Matt, and then the next two podcasts, I called both of those people Matt as well. I was a little worried about Mike because it's the M words.
That's what made me think
it's
about
close.
It.
But I've got many reminders.
Right.
Everybody's been good-spirited about it, though, so that's good. At least we have that. Thank you for bringing that up, Anthony. I appreciate it.
I had to.
I know. I wouldn't expect any less from you. We are going to get into much, much more with Mike here in just a minute. But first, we have a couple of announcements. And Anthony, Anthony and Trevor both have some announcements. So, Anthony, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Yesterday, we released the nutlet molds. So, those are available now, finally. And you can make these yourself. So, check our website. Hopefully, we still have some up. If not, I'll be making more. That's exciting. Some of those are already en route to some bait makers.
I watched your video today on that, by the way, on your walkthrough of it. Yeah, that was good.
Oh, dude, that took everything out of me to get that done because I was putting it off for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I just need to get this done. You know that feeling. It's like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. But, yeah. That's up.
I know that feeling.
And you know that feeling. And we have new merch, Hooked on Horror, for Halloween. Check out our website for some sick, bloody, oozy, gooey merch.
Not real blood, I hope. Maybe not.
Maybe.
Some people are into that, I guess. I don't know.
If the price is right, I'll give it up.
Oh, man.
It's not too much. So you got the nutlet molds are available as of recording this. Hopefully they're sold out by the time this goes out. But if not, get you one. Watch the video, comment, like, subscribe. Lazy Baits.
I'll be making more anyway. There's not going to be a limited amount, so.
Oh, okay, awesome.
I'll try to keep a couple in stock at a time.
Cool. Trevor, what do you got for us?
So I want to make a catch and win announcement. Round 5 is underway. It goes until October 15th. This round, I'm going to give away a custom painted summit, not this one, but this bait, however the winner wants painted, along with a battle mouse. Not this one. Ooh, yeah. They will get both custom painted, however they want. Winner will be announced October 16th, and that'll kick off round 6, the last round.
Oh, yeah. And round 6,
that's awesome.
Correct me if I'm wrong, round 6 is basically all of the winners from rounds 1 through 5.
No. Round 6 is going to be... I should have clarified that. Round 6 is going to be...
I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
No, it's fine. Its own round, it's going to go from the 16th of October until Black Friday, which I think is November 28th this year. And then in December, the winner from each round, I'm going to put them on a wheel, and we're going to have one winner that can take 2025 bragging rights, and I'm going to have a mega prize.
That's what I was thinking. I forgot that there was going to be a round 6 as well. My bad. But that's awesome. It's exciting. So round 4 is underway.
Round 5.
I already got round 5. Round 4 is over.
Round 4 is done.
5 is underway.
We had Bob take round 3 and round 4.
Good old
Bob's cleaning house.
Yes.
Bob's always catching
really
on the
does.
Baits.
On that summit.
Yeah.
I know.
Him and Panfish Poppy. Shout out Bob and
That's
Panfish
right.
Poppy.
Yeah.
There's these
Between
guys
the
are
two of
always
them.
cleaning up. Awesome.
Trevor, is
Well,
that a bank beaters hat?
Yeah.
He's like in the same town.
Is he?
Yeah, him
That's
and Jacked
awesome.
Up. We're all like within like 10 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
That's
Both
cool.
of those guys are great people.
Yeah, no, it's nice to be able to like meet people in person because just like this, most of bait makers are all over the place. So it's always fun to meet people in person. But yeah, no, bank beaters, he's a good dude.
I think we all need to move to California now.
let's just go.
That sounds like
So-
the spot.
No, I'm
Depends
good.
on what you
Uh,
like.
I
I
don't like heat.
taxes.
California might not be for you.
Yeah, taxes and heat. Yeah, not two of my favorite things. So, but it's a nice thought. Maybe we can all just, have a big meetup someday. But yeah, anyway, I don't have any announcements. So we'll jump straight into our next segment, which is the long awaited return of what has become my favorite segment that we ever do. And that's Let Trev Cook.
Here we go. Let's see if you'll find a good fishing spot. What was that? Some kind of portal?
I truly do not know what to think, believe, or even wrap my head
The
around.
wild. No way. This is a battle mouse. I can't believe it.
Found a battle mouse, and now this beautiful combination setup. Yeah, that's right. I called it a combination.
Now I'm hungry for Chinese. Peekaboo!
Hey, sweetness.
I think that guy was looking for Batman. Hope he finds him. But let us continue our adventure. Look at that view. You see?
No!
Jerry strikes again.
Round 5, anyone?
I know that guy.
I think I do too. I'm intrigued, enthralled, excited, shocked, a little
I'm
hungry
speechless.
for some reason. I don't know why that happened, but
I'm sorry to leave you
Yeah.
speechless.
that's
There's a lot of
That's
places
something.
to eat around though. So come here
Okay.
hungry. You'll leave with parking lot pizza or something better.
some pizza.
Ooh, wait for
Awesome.
pizza.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait for the next installment of Let Trev Cook. All right. Well, I know it's hard to follow up that bombshell of a segment, but it's time that we get to our esteemed guest, Mike from Johnny Creek. Mike, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with a few yahoos in a podcast, but we really, really appreciate your time. I know it's a little earlier in the day for you than it is for us, but yeah, why don't you, if our guest, not our guest, you're our guest, if our viewers don't know who you are or haven't heard of you before, why don't you just give us a little breakdown of who you are and what you do?
Right on. Appreciate it. No, thanks for having me, guys. Like, just talking offline a little bit before we got here. Just I really appreciate the opportunity to be on with you guys and just be, someone in the same space. So we started out as a soft plastics company. So we're in California and, soft plastics is the easiest market to join in. So we thought we'd do that. That's not true.
Took me a second, but I caught the sarcasm. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I actually had no interest in really like being in the industry outside of massive passion for fishing, bait making. My dad's actually been in the industry for 40 years. He was a rep for Dia, Quantum, P-Line, Power Pro. So I've been around the space since I was a kid. I was doing shows with them and, grew up with the owners of P-Line and still have a relationship with them today. But I've just always enjoyed the space and never really thought that I would actually work in it. Life circumstances always kind of dictate kind of how you end up where you end up, right? So just quick backstory. In 2014, my son Case was born with a rare genetic condition. There wasn't even a name for it. It's called 5q14.3. So basically he's missing 14 genes on his 5th chromosome. And epilepsy was a massive part of his disability, along with, similar to cerebral palsy. Doesn't walk, doesn't talk, and was having thousands of seizures a day, just devastating. And we were able to find that cannabis was actually working for some kids. Sanjay Gupta back in the time had a special on CNN with a little girl out of Colorado, Charlotte Figge. And me and my wife were like, man, we're trying these medications, like these hard narcotics, and nothing's working. Like, what do we have to lose? Let's try it. And so Case, at 8 months old, was the youngest patient in the U.S. at the time. In 2014, cannabis was treated way differently than it is now. And so we decided to give cannabis a try, and it worked. And so it wasn't immediate, but it was just over time. We weaned off all pharmaceuticals. He was on 3 different ones: Keppra, Topamax, and phenobarbital, which super hard narcotics, for an 8-month-old. And then as that kind of grew, we kind of live in the Bible Belt of California. The Central Valley is kind of really old school, heavy Republican, very conservative. And so cannabis, although kind of legal in California, we had Prop 215, which kind of allowed medical use, but kind of didn't, was banned everywhere near us. And I was like, it's not right that I have to drive 3 hours to pick up my son's medicine. So we decided to jump in to kind of the mix, open a dispensary. And that was in 2016 with another father that had a disabled son. And so we did that for a couple of years, heavily involved in the political side of getting things legalized. And I know this has nothing to do with Bates, but this kind of leads into how we kind of got to where we are. And then, so we were able to get everything legalized. I left education. I was a high school teacher, ran the high school bass fishing club, but I ended up going into cannabis, opened 2 dispensaries, and we had one of the first volatile manufacturing facilities in California. Not sure if you guys have checked it out, but I think Anthony has. Really sophisticated lab, had a lot of great people. So did that for 5 years and got way bigger than I ever anticipated. We had an office in Toronto, office in LA, 3 or 4 facilities here locally. And I was just, I have left education, been doing that full time. And we went to a funeral of the only little boy that we've actually met that has my son's condition, the same condition. And I kind of was just really was a reflection moment. What am I doing? I'm on a plane to Toronto every 6 weeks. I'm driving to LA, which is, for those of you guys that don't know, from where I'm at in California there, it's about 5-hour drive. I was just gone all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I did this to make sure my son had medicine. And then now I'm gone. So then I was like, you know what? It's time for me to be done. And kind of went through that and went back into education and decided to get my master's. And while I was getting my master's, I was starting to play more and more with bait making. Got hooked on the Delta rats, right? The rats was my jam. Nobody had them though. $200 a rat, and nobody had them in stock. They were always gone. And so then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start carving black walnut, and I started making my own rats. And they were phenomenal. And so that's how I kind of got into it. And then I wanted to teach high school kids how to make baits because we had that fishing club. So I got back into that. And I'm like, man, let's get more injection stuff and let's kind of teach kids how to make some baits. And so I was kind of starting to dabble in that. And then while I was getting my master's, you have access to all these databases that aren't public, different research reports, you name it. I was bored one Thursday night. I'm like, I wonder if anybody's doing anything with cannabis and baits. So I'm searching all this stuff. And sure enough, in India, they've been crushing hemp seed forever and fish love it. And so I'm like, man, I'm a lot more advanced in crushing hemp seed. I ran we ran a volatile extraction lab. So we were using hydrocarbons, 200 proof ethanol, multiple different extraction methods to essentially get to what we were making for my son. So I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. And so then I tried it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I did it mainly just out of scent, the scent profile, that natural terpene was where it started. And it was phenomenal. And so then I'm like, ain't nobody doing this in the US. This bait's crazy. I think I might be able to do it. And that's kind of where we kicked off. So that's kind of how we ended up with hemp in our baits. And then as far as kind of the origins of Johnny Creek, there's this little creek, 30 minutes from us, may or may not have been private property.
Doesn't matter.
No. But anyways, so I got hooked on bass fishing bad there. in high school. I'd already fished a lot with my dad, but then we found this creek, and everybody around here knows it. It's just phenomenal, right? Like jerk bait, top water, you name it. Nothing to go there and pull a 6-7 pounder out any night of the week. And it's super small creek. And so when we were looking to like name everything, we're like, and like, what are we going to name it? You go through all the lists. You guys have all gone through naming exercises. It's horrible. It's like, this sounds good. This sounds good. That's taken. This is taken. And Johnny Creek just kind of stuck. It was like what got us. One of my other partners, Greg, you don't see him too much. He's a OR nurse. Me and him were the ones that really got hooked there. And so that's kind of how Johnny Creek became really the name of what we did. And it's one of those ones that I think our biggest challenge right now is like fighting the gimmick, right? Like, like it's just hemp. It's, it's not actually anything but just, a ploy. And we've really worked hard to create a platform and image that isn't gimmicky. But I think we'll continue to fight that for a little bit until people try our baits.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So
it's not a gimmick.
No. And, and so I touched on it for a second. We did it mainly for scent profile, right? Like the olfactory system in fish, like they can smell better than anybody ever thought about, right? It's one of those things that you just don't think about because we can't smell underwater. But imagine different species and completely different ecosystems can do things we can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we started. And then it was looking into like the actual light wavelength of the chlorophyll, which is, not everybody's gonna know what chlorophyll is, but when you get a grass stain, like the actual green colorant that's in plant material, that light wavelength is actually longer than any synthetic colorant there is. And so as it's falling through the water column, fish are seeing it different, which is, I think one of the biggest things I think new bait makers try to do, right? Like how do you present something to a fish that they haven't seen before? And so that became the second thing. And then it was like, oh my gosh, like our baits don't rip as easy as another bait. Like it was like, at first it was like, kind of like, okay, did we do something different? But then it was like, no, it's the hemp acts as a natural plasticizer without losing like that unique functionality, desired movement in a bait. It doesn't take away, that movement. And so between that, like came up with a product that really has 3 unique properties that don't exist at all yet.
That's far more scientific than I expected whenever we were going into this. It's like, I mean, I didn't think it was a gimmick, but I was like, okay, so it's probably the smell, right? Like that was that. And that kind of sounds like where it started, but you got into and I'm sorry. And I'm actually not sorry. I'm proud of myself for suppressing my urge to quote Billy Madison whenever you said chlorophyll, but
yeah,
it's because I wasn't bored, but I have this bad habit where I just blurt out movie lines whenever something reminds me of them. It's probably some form of something. Anyway, but it's very scientific. It's a very scientific process. You've put a lot of thought and effort into formulating this. What's been the hardest part about that as you've been testing and been trying to really lean into the cannabis plant and what it can offer to the bait making world?
Man, it's actually been one of those ones where the work was when I was doing it for my son's medicine, right? Like all that time spent learning how to make his medicine, understand the plant. We were one of the first. Like California has been pretty early when it came to cannabis regs. And so being able to touch the plant and do that in a completely different way, not knowing that it was ever going to make a play into the fishing world, that was probably the hardest, right? Like just, it's one thing to create a bait for fish, medicine for your kid, the room for air is definitely not there. That was probably the hardest part. So having that background, I think, is really what gave us an edge and why, we're one of the only ones to be doing it right now. Right. And, I think there's not a lot of people that know that much about the plant that love to fish and have the lab background as well. So I think we're just kind of in a unique spot to be able to do it. I love to fish. Like it's always been a huge passion, and to be able to blend the two, it's been an incredible journey. But yeah, no, I think the biggest challenge was all the initial learnings. I can't imagine trying to learn all of the technical components to plastisol, bait making, in addition to the hemp and the cannabis side. Like having that years of experience, this is what case is 12. So I've been around the plant for 11 and a half years, and I had no prior experience. Like, I'm not a cannabis guy. Like, I'm actually probably the most conservative guy that you guys may have had on this show. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's like full like background, but, super well and, pretty conservative. So, it wasn't something that I was familiar with, like, at all. I was a high school teacher. My most experience with cannabis was like busting kids that, brought pop brownies. So it wasn't like something that was super comfortable for me anyway. So it was a lot of learning then and just blending the two. I don't know. I think in any type of manufacturing, everything is relatable. Like, a lot of the processes are similar. It's just different chemicals, different compounds, time, pressure. So yeah, so it's a lot of it translates really well, which has allowed us to kind of come to the market pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, if you've already got the hard part figured out, and then you're like, oh, that it probably connects very easily as you're going through learning the bait making process and about, the compounds and the plastisol. It's like, oh, I could work this in here. So that makes sense. Real quick, are you still teaching, or are you a full-time bait maker now?
No, crazy enough to leave education again, and decided to see if I can't make a full-time job of bait making. Me and Tommy both left our jobs. He left a little bit earlier. I was contracted through June, but yeah, my last 2 years I was assistant principal at an elementary school, and now I'm a full-time bait maker. Telling your mom the first time you're leaving education to do something federally illegal was hard. Now, this one seemed a little easier. I don't know, probably about the same amount of risk. So yeah, no, we jumped in full time. Like, we've I'm gonna hold this up just for a quick second there. That's one of our injection machines right there. So we're pushing out 8 to 12,000 baits a day. So like, we went all in. It was, one of those ones, once we saw how well the bait actually functioned and performed, was like, man, like, how do we not put this on the market? At first we were just like, let's just do some like weekend shows. Let's just do stuff on Saturdays and nights. And then next thing you know, we left my 120 square foot garage and we're in like a 5,000 square foot warehouse. Went to Alabama and ordered an injection machine and a few different molds. And if you know anything about molds, 24 by 36 inch mold is not cheap.
A 4x6 mold is not cheap. So I can only imagine what that would be.
But no, yeah. So to answer your question, Jesse, been full time since summer, but really, honestly, like, just in the last couple of months, we've really kind of put everything together from a catalog perspective, website, all the different pieces, right? Like, everything always takes longer, costs more than you think it's going to. But I feel like we're doing it the right way, and just getting baits in people's hands. Like, the response has been phenomenal. Like, it's not public knowledge yet, but we do have a lake record already. It's one of our smaller lakes around here. It's I forget the exact number, like 6'4" spot. So that'll be coming out on a video. Spot. It's a big spot. Yeah. But we're getting stuff all over. We got a super cool review from Texas just yesterday. We had an order come through, I think like Tuesday night, and our website's been kind of glitchy. Like, half the time it'll charge shipping and half the time it won't. And like, anything over 50 is supposed to be free. Well, we just changed it to just free because we've been having issues for it. So from now until Christmas, shipping's free. But anyway, so it charged them like $7. So I sent them an email like, hey, we've already refunded you. It was like within like a couple hours. And, your baits are on your way. Just to let them know. Like, I hate when you say something's supposed to be away and like, we're not trying to be sneaky. And he replies back. He's like, hey, Mike, there's actually our second order. And like, we've been crushing on your baits. And my buddy started using them. So I needed more. And by the way, can you please not sell to the shops around here, because I'd like to win some money on your baits before people know about them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, in the amount of pictures that we've gotten, like our coming out party was in January. We have the International Sportsman's Expo out here. And that was like our big coming out. That was the first time we sold any baits. And within 24 hours of selling packs of baits, we were already getting pictures from people that bought baits from us with 2, 3, 4 pounders, like within 24 hours. And so it's like, all right, like we had caught fish. And so then it was just like, and ever since then, it's every week people are catching fish and, catching, decent fish. The numbers have been great. Size have been great. And the biggest thing is that, man, we don't have to put a new bait on every time that we catch a fish.
Mm-hmm.
There was,
That's a big deal.
it is. People are like, well, don't you want them to like buy more baits? I'm like, look, it's fishermen. Like, if they find something they like, they're going to buy as many packs as they want. Even if they don't even go through them, like the fact that it works, they're going to buy it. So we like that. I think it was in like May, we were like just random night. I think I was watching baseball, and I think at that time we're like 50 to 60 followers a month, like nothing crazy. Like, we're just trying to get real people to follow us. We're not paying for people to follow us. We're not paying bots. And all of a sudden we have like 100 and like, I don't even know what the number was. It was a lot that followed us within one night. It's like, and we're calling each other like, hey, like, why are people following us? And these guys that we didn't know had bought some baits from us, and they caught like, I don't know, it was like 20 something pound bag, right? 5 fish, 20 something pounds. And they tagged us. And then all of a sudden, like, people were just met like, hey, where can we get your baits? What are we doing? And like, we didn't know them. They just tagged us like, hey, we got these new Johnny Creek baits, and put fish straight in the boat. So it's been stories like that have been super helpful. And going back to that guy in Texas, his first line in the email was like, these aren't a gimmick. So I do feel that we do have to like beat that stigma a little bit of, I don't know, cannabis is in the US is still kind of new and kind of edgy a little bit. And I could see why he'll be like, oh, they're just like trying to, be part of this wave. But really it was kind of by accident. And then we did it. And it's honestly, I really truly feel I fished a lot of baits, right? Like I fished Robo Worm, Yamamoto, Keeper. Like I fished all those religiously my whole life. And I feel like our baits are going to compete and be some of the best baits on the market. Those are all great baits. I'm not going to talk trash about any baits. Like, those are all great baits, but I feel like what we have is completely different, and it's not a gimmick. It's not just because like, oh, it'd be fun to put weed in a bait.
I mean, it would be fun, but
yeah. The fun part is, I know Trevor, Anthony, Jesse, have you gotten any of my baits yet? You like got your hands on any yet?
I have not. I'm well behind the curve on that, so I will rectify that when we're done here.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely get you some. And the cool thing is like, you open the bag and you're like, yeah, that actually, it's not just like saying it's in there. It's in there. You know what I mean? Like, you come into our shop, it's like, like the cool thing was at the show when people would walk by, you'd be like, hey, smell it, and they'd be like yelling at their friends. Hey, come smell this. Come smell this. You're not going to believe this. So, but yeah, so I figure once we could get past that gimmick, that stigma, and people really feel the difference after people have fished them and they felt them, we're definitely, getting that response. And so I think that's our biggest hurdle right now, is getting past just that idea that it's not just nostalgia. It's like, it's actual functionality, and it's going to change. I honestly, I feel it's going to change a lot of things in the bait making world at some point. You look at the history of cannabis and hemp, and, Henry Ford was a massive proponent of hemp, and often, not joked, but talked about, being stronger than steel. And maybe that's a good segue into our upcoming bait.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I was going to ask about that a little bit. You're expanding, like, I know that you primarily do soft plastics with a few other offerings at this point in time. Am I correct on that? I tried to go through your website today and get a catalog of everything that was on there. Am I missing anything that's not out, or that is currently out?
Yeah, so we have like our Johnny Walker, which is just your traditional head-on spook that we buy in bulk and we repaint. It's the only thing that we buy and repaint. Everything else we make in-house. That was just because Tommy fell in love with the spook, so we felt like we needed to do it. Yeah. But we have partnered with Jacked Up Baits, and we're now distributing the J Rat. So if you kind of go back to the history of how I got into bait making, I love rats. Like, rats have a special
California
place.
Guys and your rats.
Oh my gosh. I've caught a lot of fish on some rats, man. And so anyway, so like, once I got my hands on Ozzy's little rat, I see right there. Right there, a little J-Rat. Little cross up between Johnny Creek and Jacked Up is where we got the J-Rat from. But yeah, as soon as I got one of those, I was like pushing him. I'm like, Ozzy was like, you have to talk to Anthony, and like, you got to get this in like a resin mold. Like, this got to be consistent. We want it. So that's actually one of our offerings right now. And then the next up is being released January at the ISE. So it's our XG8. It's our Extreme Glide 8-inch, and that thing is amazing. I don't even. It's so hard to describe like how quick it's come to where it is. I think when we started making baits, primary focus was just soft plastics. It was like, okay, we have a niche, we're going to stick with that. And then as we went through spring, part of our strategy is being on the water once a week. Is, you look at really like a lot of the players that are in the game today, the amount of time they're pushing out content and being on the water. For the younger generation coming up, if you don't have that, I feel like it's going to be really hard to make a dent in the market. And so, you look at Big Bass Dreams, any of these guys that are on the water, they're pushing out content. And so as we went through spring, I realized I like to fish a lot of stuff. I'm not just like, we love finesse. That's why we started with finesse, like big finesse fishermen, but like, I love a glide. I love a big swim bait, depths, or, hog hunter or the HUD. And it was kind of like, like we kind of went the whole package. And, we worked with Anthony a few different times. For those of you guys that are watching that haven't like dove in and you make baits, like you should be like on the phone with Anthony immediately. He did not pay me to say that. I'm just telling you right now, like
I appreciate that.
The talent that's there is awesome.
He's not just another pretty face. He's actually kind of smart.
You know what? Yeah. One may outweigh the other one. I won't say which one.
You don't have to.
So yeah, so through that, it's kind of like we realized we want kind of the whole bag. Like obviously we don't want to make every single thing on the market, but it was like, we want to be able to offer the things that we really like. And so one of the first things we actually reached out was our Johnny Trout, which that is going to be amazing when that's done. That one takes a lot of work, but we are extremely close. We've been working with a CNC guy that has just been taking extremely long. And through that process, the XG8 has kind of jumped in front by a long way. But the Johnny Trout is a beast. It's like a 7-ounce bait, 10 inches. It's a monster. But we've caught some fish on it already, but we want to perfect it. So that'll probably be coming December of 26, if not January 27. But the XG8, and of course the Johnny Trout will have hemp in it as well. It'll continue to improve the durability of that soft plastic. Actually allowed us to have a really thin tail. So there'll be some unique things about that'll be coming out, and we'll be sharing as that gets closer. But the XG8 has just crushed it. And in true fashion, we, obviously did some homework and designed a crazy cool bait. In addition to that, we're able to take another part of the plant in the hemp and create a hemp reinforced resin. So our resin bait is incredibly durable. So that's going to be a component that we're adding in the XG8. We have a few little secrets up our sleeve that we'll continue to keep secret. Anthony knows a little bit about them, but if one of them works out, I think it's going to be a big deal in the swim bait market. But so far, we really only did one modification or one-time modification. We did a couple modifications, but only really one change from our first version to second version. And we've been out 4 trips now, half days, nothing crazy. And a really hard time to fish here in California anyways. It's hot. Like the reaction bite isn't crazy. They're down pretty deep, but we were able to, the first trip, I put us at a 4.63 was the big. And I think I put 5 in the boat with the glide. Second trip, we got a 6.83. The same thing, I think we put 4. Next trip, we caught a 4.83 and then a bunch of 3s on the last one. So like in 4 trips, it is straight put fish in the boat when it's hard to put. So the action on it is phenomenal. I've been a big clutch. I've been big KGB, Big Bass Dreams did a collab not too long ago. And so been a fan of glides, and I was like, you know what? We could fill the boat with our soft plastics, but how am I going to put the kicker in? So between the XG8 and the Johnny Trout, we think we have that in the mix. And so it's, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
It swims really well. The profile, it's a little bit thinner than a lot of the glides out there. Like if you were to like hold up a natural, like a real shad, it really fits the profile of the real shad. It's not like a real thick body on the bottom. I might have one somewhere around here. So as you can see, it's a little bit thinner on the belly, real sleek. I'm falling in love with it. It's I can't put it down. We're releasing that at the ISE. So we'll put a full marketing campaign behind that. We've already got, I think we have like 5 pre-orders of just guys like, hey, as soon as it's ready, I'll take 1, I'll take 2. Are you guys familiar with Ish Monroe? He's been real big on the MLF and Bass Series for a number of years. He's from our area, and he just bought a shop, and they'll be exclusive on carrying our shop around here, carrying our bait around here locally. So they're already
awesome.
they're game to put it in. But I mean, go check out our Instagram. We've got, I don't know, I think 2 or 3, maybe just 2 videos of it swimming. It's a killer. I'll tell you that right now. Again, Anthony, appreciate the work. I mean, if you guys saw the stick figure-ish bait design that I like actually sent to him, I think most people would be embarrassed. I have no shame, but yeah,
That's pretty common, I think. Anthony has to do a lot of interpretation, and he's pretty good at it.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Oh, it's so close.
That's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be able to zoom in on it. Yeah,
That's my hand drawing, and what we came up with is absolutely amazing. So, super appreciative of the work. And honestly, I think that goes like kind of to the bait making community, which, I really appreciate you guys having the Bait Boys podcast and all the people that you guys have had on it. It's a crazy cool community to be part of. A lot of times, like, I definitely don't feel like I even, belong just because of like the talent and the amount of like cool things that people are producing and doing. And like the generosity of people sharing information has been super cool to see and just be a part of as well.
Well, that's the cool thing about it. Everybody's welcome, right? Like all backgrounds, all different specialties, all different levels of knowledge, like from the guy that's just whittling his first hunk of wood into his first crankbait all the way up to people who are dialing in the science of cannabis and applying it to a lure. Like that's the cool thing about the community. And that's part of why we wanted to start this, was just to showcase a lot of that, like all of these great makers that are all doing it different ways and all taking different approaches and from different backgrounds, different day jobs, or different previous day jobs in your case, and showing like, yeah, this is probably one of the most diverse background communities as far as like niche communities go, like niche builders, because yeah, that's just what I've noticed in the short time that I've been active in the community somewhat. But yeah, so
I think
you're welcome here. You don't feel like you don't belong, because everybody's welcome here.
It really comes down to like, you got to love it to be doing this. Like with the glide bait, even the soft plastics, like your motivation isn't anything other than, I like fishing this, so now I want to have like something that's kind of like my ideal of what it should be. With Tommy with the spook, you with the glide and the soft plastic, like you really got to be passionate about this to get into it. And I think it just makes for a good community of people who are like just nerding out all the time. So it doesn't really matter about sharing something, because you're just like happy to talk about fishing. If someone comes up to me and wants to talk about fishing, chances are I'm going to talk to them about it. Except when I'm fishing. When I'm actually fishing, like just beating the bank, sometimes I just don't want anybody to come up to me because it's after work. And I'm like, this is my piece. And then people like want to come up to me and talk about community politics from the HOA meeting. And I'm like, lady, do I look like I go to the HOA meeting? I pay it every year.
The HOA.
No, he's 2 doors down.
Gotcha. It's a great community, and I'm proud to be a part of it, and proud to have this thing going that I don't know where it's headed, but it's, the more and more great makers that we have on, the bigger it's going to get, and everybody kind of gets to share audiences that way. And I think that's pretty cool too, kind of getting that cross-pollination from, I'm not a soft plastic guy at all. I've never even tried, but we've had some people on that do a lot of soft plastics, and just learning more about that myself, but then being able to, they can reach my audience, I can reach their audience, the audience of the podcast. It's just, it's cool. It's really cool how collaborative it all has been since we started this, and everybody's been awesome, and every guest has brought something new to the table that has been incredibly interesting. And yeah, we're excited to keep it going, and excited to have people like yourself on, Mike. So thank you again. But yeah, I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just I was going to talk a little bit about I had an idea that I shared with Anthony last week.
I think so. Yeah.
Are you guys I know Anthony is. How many of you guys are familiar with Pro Bass Adventures out in Mexico? El Salto, Baraka, those lakes? Have you guys no?
A little bit.
No, I've never been to Mexico.
I've been to Mexico.
You probably know. Like, I thought it was Bacharach. It
might
Bacharach.
be. I don't know how to say it. It probably is.
Bacharach, yeah.
Anyways, Pro Bass Adventures is easy not to mess up, so we'll just go with that one. It is probably has the most double digits. I think they're like 220, 240 double digits this year. It's a destination. It's like a 4-day, 3-night, all-inclusive. They have boats. They have guides. So me and Anthony thought it'd be a good idea that we do a bait maker meetup, Johnny Creek and the Bait Boys, that we meet out in Mexico and do some filming.
Sold.
Because I can tell you right now, we plan on going, and we want to showcase our glide there. Like what better place to go catch a few double digits, or even if it's 7 8s, I don't care. But one, I think it'd be cool to all be in the same place.
Yeah.
But we're game. We're down, and check it out. Look it up. When you
Trevor just left.
I think so. You don't like that idea.
It's like terrible idea.
It is insane.
Hold on. Lake Bacharach was amazing. I had to go there real quick. Sorry for the interruption, the disconnection. I had a thought. Act. It's amazing. I'll catch up in the future.
Gosh.
Wow, that was a quick trip from Connecticut to Mexico and back, and with time to fish.
You forget my time machine?
Oh yeah.
That's right.
God.
We've all been frozen for like 4 days, and Trevor just got back from an amazing trip. Well, we were talking about all going together, Trevor.
He just wanted to make sure it was safe.
It's very safe. The food was great. The fishing was even better. But the time flew.
Yeah, really, for us. Yeah. No, I just pulled up the Instagram, and yeah, you're seeing massive fish coming out of there. So yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty wild place, but I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if we could ever figure out how to work it out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so how many bait makers do you really meet in person? You know, there's different meetups and things like that, but it's always nice to, it could be, right?
Yeah.
Like I think the filming opportunity, like to bring out some custom stuff. I think they do two people per boat. So I would say if we were able to make it work, there's 3 of you guys just rotate boats for 4 days, and everybody gets a chance to fish with each other and film. And, you know, 1, it builds a little bit of community, but 2, it's a opportunity to showcase all the work that we do at a different level.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Absolutely. I'm sold.
So what did you suggest next year? 26?
We're trying to look at the spring of 26. We'll see if that actually happens. But I mean, we can all stay in communication. I know sometimes it's hard. The more people you have, it's hard. But if not, then the fall or even the following spring. So we've really got kind of 3 seasons, right? Like this next spring, next fall, or the next spring after that. I don't know. And
You don't want to go in the dead of summer?
I don't know. Like I'll go whenever the like most amount of fish are biting. So I'm not afraid. I don't know if you guys see this. It's like an empty warehouse. It's a sweatshop. So it's hot here. If I could go catch fish, if I can make baits at 105 degrees, I could go catch fish at 105 degrees.
It was warm.
And I will.
It was warm. No,
Well, I'm on board. I got to start saving and let my wife know months in advance so she can start planning her all-inclusive trip separately. And yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I want to fish with Tommy.
Oh, he's fun to fish with, man. Honestly, you guys know how to, like, just fishing with friends is fun. I don't know if I know, Anthony, you saw the video from today. we have fun all the time. It's did Jesse Trevor, I don't know if you saw it, but it's a long video, it's like 3 minutes, but essentially in short is we were driving and Tommy saw a trailer and a fishing rod in the back of a truck, and he's like, Mike, grab some of these baits from the center console and just throw it in the back of their truck. And I'm like, maybe we should like let them know. He's like, no, it'll be fine. So throw a bag of baits in the back of their truck, and they went ballistic. Like they thought we threw trash in the back of their truck. And like we tried to pull it next to them, be like, we just gave you baits. Like we saw a fishing pole. Like we really hope like you enjoy it, but no, they weren't having it. Like we got every finger, every curse word, and like we couldn't even like say like sorry or like hey, there's baits in there. Like they just wouldn't have it, and so they just left very angrily. So yeah, so we made a video today, mildly apologizing or saying you're welcome. I don't know, but I am curious on what they thought when they got home. Like were they like they just gave us fishing baits, or if they were still pissed because we threw something in the back of their truck. But yeah, so it's fun. We have a good time. I mean, similar to you guys, right? Like there's 3 of you guys. I know you're in different states, but the connection and camaraderie that you build and being able to joke, like you can see it in your guys' podcast, the fun you guys have, and it's fun to go through life and do some of those things. And we're pretty fortunate out here to show up every day, and that's what we do every day. So, but yeah, no, we would definitely be interested if you guys, take a look, and we'll see if we can make it happen. Who knows? Maybe it's not the first trip, but maybe at some point in our bait making career, we're able to do it. Cause I think it would be one of those things that I think people would want to come. And wouldn't it just be, something we do, but I think it'd be cool to meet in person and do something different.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I, for one, am a big believer in asking for forgiveness versus permission. So count me in. And yeah, we'll make that happen whenever, as long as I don't have like a kid's birthday or something that I'm going to miss. but, and that's negotiable. They're teenagers. They don't care anymore. So yeah, that's awesome. I think this is a perfect time for us to take just a short break. We've got some more questions for you, Mike, that we're going to jump into here in just a second. But I've been told there's a sponsor this week, and
oh yes, Lenny's back. That's a good one. He paid a lot for this one. Mm-hmm.
How much? How much did you pay for this one, Anthony?
Huh. Well,
just roll it.
He's
just
gonna
roll it.
Pay us
just
a lot.
Roll it. Just roll it.
Hey, what are you doing up here? What are you doing up here?
You know what, guys? After watching that, I'm going to go ahead and sponsor this episode.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
I'm not sure what
you just saved Anthony's life.
I'm not sure what I just watched right there.
I don't think any of us are. I don't think any of us know. But no, that's awesome. So yeah, so Johnny Creek is going to sponsor the giveaway this week.
We've got you guys on the giveaway. I mean, I don't know
so much.
I don't know after watching that how I couldn't. So appreciate you guys having me. Absolutely, Johnny Creek sponsoring this week's episode of the Bait Boys podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you
I
should
needed
thank him,
that.
Anthony.
I owe you lunch.
I got one question. Was the rat or bait, was it talking back? Was that the reason there was like the intimidation?
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not asking him because he's probably still out there with his tinfoil hat and his torch. So
Very true.
That's a good start, Anthony. Don't ask him about that, and don't ask him about anything else ever again, and delete his phone number. Lenny's overstayed his welcome, but Mike, thank you for sponsoring the giveaway.
Thank you, Mike.
Can you let our viewers know what's on the plate for this week's giveaway?
Absolutely. Well, we've got a number of bags that we're going to throw in. We will throw in one of our J rats as well. If you're into rats, I mean, I don't know how we can't give a rat away after that video. So expect a number of our soft plastics. Our Ringo's gift, which is our signature series, is nothing but hemp. no colorant, uses the whole plant, named after my son's medicine. So you'll be getting a few bags of those and a number of other soft plastics, and definitely a J-Rat. So appreciate it. Send us some
Awesome.
pics. We always love pictures on the back end. So
Yeah, 100%. No, that's
Thanks,
awesome.
Mike.
So thank you, Mike, and thank you to Johnny Creek Baits. If you want to enter this week's giveaway, we'll make a post that should be live as of this episode airing. It's probably going to be a reel because that's what we've been doing. It'll be a collaboration. I said it right that time. A collaboration post between the Bait Boys podcast and Johnny Creek. All you have to do is go make sure that you're following both accounts, both Bait Boys podcast and Johnny Creek Baits, and tag as many people as you want in the comments. Each tag equals one entry, but make sure that you do one tag per comment, because we will be using, we've had so many entries in the past few giveaways. I cannot physically compile all of them into a spreadsheet again, or I will lose my mind. So we are going to use a comment picker. So make sure that you spread those out. So if you want to tag multiple people, make multiple comments, but make sure you're following both accounts and tag as many people as you want, and make sure that you like the post. Other than that, that's all you got to do. That's just that gets you entered, and we will run the giveaway for the coming week up until this coming Friday, and then we will draw the winner on Saturday. And I'll put all those dates in the description below, because I don't even know what today is. So we'll figure that out later, and I'll make sure that you have the actual dates down there. But yeah, thank you again, Mike and Johnny Creek, for doing that. That's awesome. And thank you for saving Anthony's life and career.
Yeah, you know what? Well, I think if you've seen any of Anthony's posts on Lazy Baits, he got a pretty cool necklace once. We'll make sure we send stuff in bags, but we're also going to give somebody the whole chain. So there's like 84 baits on there. We'll send them out. Not everybody gets to see how baits come out when you're doing them in bulk. So we'll throw in one whole chain as well.
One whole necklace.
It's
It
like
is
a
crazy.
Coca-Cola, but cooler.
It's crazy when you hold it up. Like, it's not how many? 80? It doesn't
depends on
seem
what-
like it doesn't seem like
depends on
there'd
what
be
bolt we
so
have.
many on there, but it's like huge.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
baits.
I still have them in the box in my garage, and when I go out to the truck, I just pluck a few. I'm plucking all the jerkbait Oreos lately. I think I'm like probably down to almost none. Those things have been crushing it for me. When you talk about durability, when I was in Texas, I used one, caught the redfish was second. I caught a speckled sea trout, a red, and when we went back up towards Dallas, I caught a largemouth bass, and it was all on the same Oreos jerkbait. And most of those style baits, I feel like, just get destroyed. Like one fish and they're flying off.
Yeah, we actually sent those out to, I should grab a couple of those baits. We sent those out on a 10-day trip out of San Diego, and not necessarily to like see what they would do, but just check durability, right? So they caught a bunch of yellowtail and calicos. Like, I mean, you're talking like these like super aggressive tuna hybrids, and they were getting smashed and still using the same lure. So it's
That's awesome.
I wish you guys could feel the baits in person, because we have you might be able to see it. Let me grab two.
Dude, the bait had chew marks in it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy. That was from me chewing it.
We know how you like to.
Yeah, so we do have like our offshore series, and you could kind of tell here. I don't know if you can see like how far the white one leans over compared to this one right here is nothing but hemp, and like the amount of like it is stout. Like obviously we don't do just pure hemp, because you're gonna lose a lot of like just that finesse look and just all the different components when you want that action. So but when you take it into a shop and you could actually like see the difference, feel the difference, then people are like, okay, I believe you now.
Yeah.
And we have some stuff coming out on film. We did a halibut and striper trip, and same thing, like the amount of teeth that those things have just hammering the bait, and like the bait was like untouched.
That's crazy. You
The
don't see that.
brownish one has no colorant in it.
No color in it at all. So same thing with our Ringo's gift. The Ringo, do you have some of the Ringo, Anthony? I think you do. I'm not 100% sure.
think so.
So the Ringo has no colorant at all. That's all from the colorant of the plant, the chlorophyll. So we're able to strip that down and add that in and not have any colorant. And the crazy thing about it is, like, if you hold it up, it looks almost like watermelon green, like the actual chlorophyll, but like as oxidizes and it is like hits UV, it turns almost amber. But the thing is, as it drops to the water column, they're seeing it completely different than we ever see it. So just kind of a unique function that is just, something that's unique. And I think it's going to be a pretty big player.
Yeah, definitely.
That's crazy.
That's really, yeah.
I didn't know it didn't have any color in it, and it was just the plant making it that color. And it looks much like is it like a stiffener too? Like,
yeah, some people will use plasticizers to like stiffen up their bait, and you'll see it though. But you like lose that whole action, and like really just like as the worm falls, like it's just like a stiff bait. But with ours, you get a stronger bait, but you don't lose that action, and so it's kind of like a solid in between of a traditional bait and a more durable bait, but without losing the functionality of the bait and the performance of the bait.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew? I mean,
and
I guess
honestly, that's why we came to market. Like, honestly, I don't know how we could have never came to market with a soft plastic and be competitive. Like, I just don't know. Like, why would anybody go away from Yamamoto, Robo, and all, the tried and trues? We had a differentiator, and that's why we felt like we could come to market, is because it truly is different, and people are getting bit all over the place. So, I mean, you're seeing it, but it is a hard space to dive into, right? Like that. The whole fishing world is a very, very small community. There's a ton of us bait makers all over the U.S., but like when you look at the store shelves, it's really owned by a lot of the same people.
Yeah. Mostly like one or two big companies that own smaller companies, right?
Yep.
They just keep buying out the little guy and
Buy
adding
me,
to the
buy me.
conglomerate.
Buy me. I'll make another one.
Yeah, no hate, because it's like, they're offering or hopefully they're offering a ton of money to buy out the little guy, but it's like you got to keep small business alive, man. That's what this country's about. Like, you got to keep small business alive. So on that note, I know that you mentioned earlier on that the whole idea of adding different elements of cannabis into baits, some people look at it as gimmicky. Some people are hesitant to try it. Is there, like, I joked around with Anthony when we were trying to come up with, we always have a discussion ahead of time about like the questions that we're going to ask for things that we should definitely talk about, because I know nobody unless I've already met them on here, and Anthony and Trevor know everybody. So I usually pick their brains on what we should be talking about. And I made the joke. I was like, do they make the fish high? Obviously I know they don't make the fish high, but like I'm sure that there are probably people out there that they would see a hemp infused bait, and if they're super anti, or like we talked, whatever, and that's their. Is there anything that you would like to clear up on that front, as far as just to put people's mind at ease? Like, no, you're not gonna have the DEA show up at your house if you order these boats, order these baits. They're not edibles. They're not anything like that. Anything that you just want to kind of clear
up. You can take them on a plane.
Yeah. I think in the Farm Bill of 2018 really clears a lot of that up. And that's why we're using hemp. We're not using cannabis. We're using hemp. I think the biggest difference between the two plants is the THC levels, right? Like, even if you were to figure out some way to eat our bait, you're not going to get high. Nobody's getting high. Hemp's been around forever, right? From an industrial perspective, whether it's rope, colorants, any of the textiles, if you look at like the history of what it was meant for, then, it's not what you're seeing on a corner market at a dispensary. It's a completely different product. We're not using THC. We're using a part of the plant that doesn't get you high. But at the end of the day, it's just about being educated, right? It's, I never would have thought that cannabis or hemp could make a difference in any medical aspect, and it literally saved my kids' lives. I think it's about discernment. It's about being educated and knowing what you're using, right? Because, I mean, if you were to take half of anything, whether it's in sodas or anything, like, there's so many harmful things in everything. You can nitpick almost anything. So I think for us, it's about, being educated, knowing the plant, knowing that in the U.S., the Farm Bill of 2018 allows hemp and industrial use across all 50 states. And so that's, I think, from where we operate and how we operate is we're not operating in hemp just because we're in California. We're operating because it's legal across all 50 states. And it's used in a matter from an industrial perspective, not a see what I could do with it from a recreational side.
Yeah, definitely. And from what this may be what is the term apocryphal, but isn't the Constitution written on hemp paper?
You know what?
The U.S. Constitution? I'm pretty sure it is, or at least I've been told that.
There's some wild history with hemp and cannabis and all of it. And you go back to Rockefeller, DuPont, and Kennedy's, and there's some crazy stuff that happened that probably should have never happened to get to where we are today. But, unfortunately, we live in a place where a lot of people like to abuse a lot of different things. And, there's different guidelines for different reasons. But at the end of the day, we're creative fishing baits.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. We want people to catch bigger fish, more fish. And to open your baits and not smell like a plastic swimming pool is like the first step. And then you have the durability, the light factor, and the fact that it's naturally derived and the fish actually have a desire for that type of terpene scent profile. It's like, I don't know, there's a lot of people that use WD-40 and it ain't great for anything, but at the end of the day, we're taking stuff that's natural and enhancing the opportunity to catch fish.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's jump into our trivia round, is what I'm going to start calling it. Just a couple of get to know you questions for you that will give our viewers and listeners a little insight into your world. And if you've watched the podcast before, you probably already know what I'm going to ask. But first and foremost, I would like to know, what is your favorite artificial lure of all time?
The rat, like, it really is. Tell you what though, the glide and the jerk bait are strong seconds. Yeah, I grew up jerking Rapala F-13s for big Germans up on our river system, so those have been close. But I mean, at the end of the day, like getting blown up on a rat, it's hard to beat, right? Like we have warm temperatures, so we could fish so late into the night from April to like October.
Mm-hmm. The
amount of fish that are just snatching up rats is it's fun, right? Like that first one scares you a little bit, and like I don't know how you replace that euphoric feeling fishing. You know what I mean? Like it may or may not be a problem. I don't know.
It's a healthy addiction, right?
Wait, I gotta jump in. How many rats do you see on the water when you're fishing? Like real rats?
Well, like in the Delta, right? Like we have tons of riprap. And so on the Delta, especially, you're seeing minks, you're seeing muskrats, you're seeing little squirrels, little birds, you see like the field mice. So it's not necessarily that you're seeing them all the time, but like we live in the probably biggest agricultural space in the US, if not the world. And so knowing what bass are feeding on, whether you see them all the time, I don't think is necessarily the case, but knowing that they're there is definitely a big factor. So, one of the biggest times that like we actually see a lot of rat fishing is when the water's rising, like pushing them out of all the little holes, and like you'll see them swimming. So I wouldn't say it's like a ton, but it's also one of those ones that that they're there, and the history of what fish eat, I think, is what leads you to fish those. And, just like that, like, man, there's so many people that look at your fishing, you're like, you're fishing with a rat? Like, yeah, I'm fishing with a rat. So
I love fishing with a rat bait. That's like one of the most fun catches for me. But like, I'll go out on lakes and I've never seen rats swimming across the middle of the lake getting like blown up by 4 or 5 pounders. Maybe they're there. I think the fish are just stupid. They just see the wake and they're like,
They are a predator.
I'm going that way.
Yeah. Now there are a number of videos out there though. If you search, there are plenty of fish eating rats. We were actually just at a lake. Was it last week? And there was a single duckling, baby duckling. I thought for sure that was I thought for sure it was going to get snatched up. It didn't though. But it was literally in the middle swimming by itself. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those videos, but like those ducks will go up. I mean, those bass will go up and just smash a little baby duckling. And so it's like, all right, like if they're seeing that wake, right? That's the whole reason why wake baits work, right? Like there's a bird, something creating on the surface. They don't care what it is. They're going to come eat it. So But to your point, I don't know if I've actually ever seen a rat. So I've seen a squirrel swimming. I've seen a mink. I don't know if I've actually ever seen a rat. I've seen my rat swim and it get bit. So does that count?
Same. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it does.
I'd say yeah, it does. Well, and rats are nocturnal too, right? I'm not a meteorologist, but
What? Rat? What are you talking about?
don't
Ask
they
the next
mostly come out at
question.
night?
No.
All right, yeah. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Okay, so the next question is, we would like for you to share something about yourself. It can be fishing or non-fishing related that even the people who follow you, and probably not like your immediate family and things like that, but people who know you from the internet would never guess.
I married my high school sweetheart. Started dating at 14. We've been married 21 years and been together for 28, something like that.
Wow.
So been together for a minute. She's a champ. She's super supportive, right? Like, I don't know how many wives would be like, yeah, quit your job and go make baits. So she's been super supportive. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's cool. I couldn't imagine that. 14, still being together like
Hey,
20 something years later. I don't even
the
remember
crazy
being
thing-
14.
Oh gosh, I know my daughter's 14 right now. I'm like, you're not dating anybody. So it's like,
Yep.
yeah, I was in cannabis. So I'm not really. I'm in fishing now. I'm not in cannabis. But when I was in cannabis for 5 years, I'm like, we're telling all my daughter's friends that I'm a drug lord.
To be extra careful then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Don,
yeah.
Mike's going to come get you. No, that's great. Well, Mike, thank you again for being here. We're not done with you yet. You're going to participate in the rest of the show that we have going on here. But before we jump into that part of it, is there anything up and coming that our viewers / listeners should be on the lookout for from Johnny Creek?
I mean, word on the street is I think we're coming to a store in Connecticut.
I think that's confirmed. We need to hash out some details, but I see it happening.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're growing. So look for us. Any support, all support, super appreciative. I think our biggest news is the XG8 coming out in January. Look for that. If you haven't watched some of our videos, some of the catches, it really is. And like I love glide baits. I love my glide bait. Our glide bait is phenomenal. So that's probably our biggest thing, right? Like getting more stores, distribution. So look for us. Hopefully soon to be in somewhere between 50 and 150 stores here in California in the next couple of months. We're working with a distributor and then just trying to expand throughout the whole US. Little by little, but check out our website. Shipping's free right now.
Yeah.
Because we can't figure out how to not charge you. So we're just going to give it to you.
Awfully nice of you.
Yeah. No, but yeah, so I think those are the biggest things. XG8, the International Sportsman's Expo in January. I think it's going to be a big launch for us, and we're excited about it.
That's awesome. Well, we'll leave links to all of your socials and your website and everything in the description below. So make sure that you go follow Johnny Creek Baits on everything. Go check out the website. If you don't live near one of those 100 or 50 to 150 stores in California, you don't have to. You can order them there. And like you said, free shipping through Christmas. A happy accident, right? For customers, at least. Maybe not so happy on that end, but that's awesome. Great. Well, again, thank you, Mike, for hanging out with us and going through all of this. We got to trauma bond over that sponsor ad, and thank you for sponsoring the episode and the giveaway for this week. Yeah, but just thank you. It's been awesome hanging out and talking with you. But
Likewise.
yeah. So yeah, thank you. Well, we've heard a lot about what Mike has been working on recently. So let's go around and talk about what the rest of us have been working on. And why break with tradition? Trevor, what's up with you?
What is up with me? I'm being very stringent on how I accept repaints these days. Okay? Do not remove all of the hardware, please. I won't name names. You might see it in a post and put pieces together. Thank you. So I did wrap up a whole ton of those this week. I have a whole bunch more repaints I got to do. But at the end, I do have some questions for Mike. Just at the very end. Let me throw that out there. All right.
Okay. Yeah. We'll do that after we do this part.
Yeah. And that's it.
Right.
That's what I'm up to.
Awesome.
Oh, I am also up to assembling a shop kind of like Legos, because I got a bunch of boxes that I've opened, looked into, made sure pieces are here. This is what I need. Returned some stuff, got new stuff. So I'm playing adult Legos for real and building stuff. And so stay tuned to the PB exclusive.
Isn't it
Awesome.
just as fun as when you were a kid, though? Like assembling your own stuff? Maybe not like if you're asked to build a nightstand, but like your own area. It's like, dude.
Yes, until I start checking the bank account and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, I didn't
Just
pay
don't do
for that Lego kit, that Lego set as a kid. But okay, I bought that, you know? But it's good.
Everything always costs more and takes longer than you expect it to, Trevor. I'm telling you that right now.
Absolutely. Oh, I know this. It's good
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
though.
Yeah, we all know that, but we always forget it. So it's you always find yourself falling, or I do anyway, find myself falling into that same trap. I'm like, this should take about a couple days. It won't cost that much. Yeah, and then 2.5 weeks later, and $400 over budget. It's like, oh, okay. I'm an idiot. Anyway, Anthony, what are you up to?
Just pouring nutlets. I'm gonna try to get a batch painted up. I want to get some footage, some swim videos. That's about it. Trying to pick back up after vacation. Also trying to
How's that
take it
Twitch bait going?
a little easy. That thing's garbage. Yeah, it's absolute trash. Doesn't do at all what I wanted it to do.
So it's a prototype.
However, yeah, it's a big prototype. However, I have to do it again with more weight in it, because after looking at more of the one piece like Twitch baits and like one piece gliders, they're not heavy floaters. And I weighted this to be a heavy floating bait. Like it comes up fairly quick. It actually, the action isn't terrible, but it was rolling over on itself and then wrapping the line in the hooks, which, I mean, it's kind of at that point, you know, it's pointless to even throw something if it's going to be wrapped up in the line. So, of course, I was talking to Victor and we were bouncing ideas back and forth. And, yeah, I got to add a little more weight towards the nose, maybe like 3 grams. Pour another one. Maybe it won't be so garbage, but not at all what I wanted.
No, well, don't give up.
I poured 2 of them, and they were both unusable.
Yeah, the first 2 are never great.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
that.
But yeah, that's what I'm working on. A lot of
Awesome.
focus on the nutlet and apparel, trying to get some Halloween designs out, including ours. I'm going to be working on that.
To make some spooky Bait Boys apparel.
Yeah, you saw that one logo. I showed my wife.
Yeah.
She's like, "That is cool," and I'm like,
That was sick.
"All right, we're gonna be buying these for us."
Yeah, right.
We're
Somebody's
our
gotta buy
own
'em.
biggest apparel supporter. Which is
Somebody's got to
fine.
buy them. No.
What
Yeah, I
about
did
you?
see that, and that was really cool. I am ecstatic to say that I have gotten the mini glide to where I like it.
Oh yeah.
I have taken it out twice with some modifications in between because I was struggling with a swim. It had everything else I wanted, but didn't have a swim. With some input from my best bait making buddies, Anthony and Trevor, I was able to make some adjustments and finally have it to where I'm in love with it. I caught so if you I don't know what episode number it was, but if you go back to the episode where I talk about my Canada trip, I threw my scale in the water, right? So I got a new scale that I don't know how to use, and I tried to use it today. And the scale told me that the first fish that I caught on the mini glide was, what was it, 4 pounds 5 ounces. But I measured it and it was 22 inches. Trevor did some Googling and apparently he thinks it's closer to 5. And the reason I know the scale is broken because the second fish I caught, which I knew was like 2.5, 3 pounds, it tried to tell me it was 8 ounces. So I know the scale. I don't know how to work. It's probably not broken, but I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it right. So I'm not going to claim anything over what the scale told me on the first one, but it was a big fish, quality fish. And it was, it was literally like the probably 3rd or 4th serious cast I made with it. because I was trying to get swim videos before that. And yeah, just in 3 feet of water, 95-degree temperature, middle of the day, like 12:30, bluebird sky, just terrible conditions for especially throwing a glide bait. And yeah, it got 8. Did a fish for a couple more hours, caught another, 2.5, 3 pounder. So some quality fish on it already. I'm happy with it as it is. So we've officially reached the point where I'm going to start making some and sending them to some people that I trust will give me honest feedback, and maybe also Trevor and Anthony, but to get a handful of them out there just to make some final opinions and make some final adjustments if needed before getting it out there. But I'm very, very happy with the overall performance of it. And this was unpainted blanks. So in terrible conditions, it's catching fish. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of weird looking. It has a traditional profile, but I've added some, freak bait style details on it.
It's you. It's definitely you. Like your style.
Yeah. I've been wrestling with this thing for how long now?
I mean,
2
not
months?
that long. It's honestly not too bad.
In the grand scheme of things, yes. But it's consumed my every free minute.
Yeah.
For 2 months. Because I will stay up way too late pouring a new one, pouring another one. And I got one mold, right? Like I got one mold, so I'm pouring another one, making an adjustment, moving the weight, 1/8 of an inch forward, which is actually what ended up fixing the whole thing for me. It was just like, I think I have, what was this? This was the 22nd iteration that I've poured and fished with, and it finally is doing. And when I took it out and fished with it, I was a little upset. I'm like, I'm going to throw this thing away because I hadn't done any tuning to it. I just kind of had it on factory settings. But then I turned those screw eyes a half a turn and it immediately started doing exactly what I wanted it to. And it glides great. It's got an amazing chop on it, and it has a really nice, natural, but wide swim to it. And so it's kind of that's what I was going for, was just like a do everything bait. And I was throwing it on a medium heavy fast action with no issues. It weighs almost exactly an ounce without paint and clear on it. So it'll be just a touch over an ounce when everything's done. And yeah, it was catching, it's been even earlier iterations caught some decent fish on it. So I'm going to be sending some of those out to some buddies to give me some feedback on. Mike, I'd be happy to send you one, even though I know you've got one that you're working on.
Hey,
I'd be willing to throw it around a little bit.
I love glides, man. Yeah, no, I was just going to ask you one question though. Is it not normal to not sleep and think about baits all the time?
Apparently not.
No.
At least that's what my therapist tells me. But it's I have a problem with hyperfixation, and especially if there's a problem to be solved. And literally, if I wasn't working or I wasn't doing something, with the family or the kids, I was adjusting. I'm pouring new ones and putting them together and trying to figure out and just calculating. And I've never gotten so technical with making a bait. And that's why I hate resin. I think resin is the devil. Wood is so much easier to work with. I don't have that problem with wood baits for whatever reason. It's these confounded resin baits that you all got me into that I am struggling with. But we're there, in my opinion, but I want to get some other opinions on it before doing anything bigger with it.
Nice.
But yeah,
I have a view on why that is with wood and resin, but I'll save it for another episode. But I do think when you're closer to getting the mini glide, like you think you got it after whatever, we definitely got to do the episode where we talk through the process. Like it's gonna be fresh in your mind on every step you took and what changes and how it affected the bait. So I think that'd be cool. So if people watching this episode think that would be a good topic for like a full episode, just let us know. If you're watching the premiere right now with us, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I don't know that people are going to want to hear me, because I will talk for an hour on that. Because there were so many steps of the process that I wasted so much time on. But maybe if I can save somebody else that time.
We've all done that.
I know you're
are doing it.
Here is a stranger to that, but it's just like I've not had this much trouble with making a bait ever before. But
if you're making a bait to get it right, it's hard.
Yeah.
And especially small baits.
Mhm.
Mini.
How long have you been working on it?
I started designing it probably 3 months ago.
If it makes you
Which-
feel any better,
Yeah.
I designed this with Anthony in like November of last year. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's a beast, though. It's a beast.
I can't. I'm not. Yeah, soft plastics. I don't even know. Like, I don't know what kind of black magic goes into making those work right. So the swim baits, soft plastic swim baits, I can't. Like, without a big fat tail, I don't know how it works. So no shame in that. It's probably gonna. Hopefully, it doesn't take too much longer because I'd love to fish with one. But
That's less of that's. I feel like less the bait and more getting it produced efficiently.
No,
Because
that
I
is
saw
it,
the
yeah.
swim videos and it swims awesome, but it's definitely a tough design, and I'm sure you know this already, but machining a mold like that is not an easy task because it has, it's complicated. You got all the fins and everything. Although, who just made that bait? Was it Angling AI, where the fins are shot separately and then put into the
saw that.
mold? I thought that was cool. That's a really good option. I don't know the trouble you're having with it. If it's just taking long or the person machining the molds is like having trouble designing it, I wouldn't know how to design an injection version of that because of how complicated it is.
We are close. Yeah, just a matter of function. We're close, and on it, we could probably get it done sooner. But the XG8 happened so fast, and it's so good that with the machine shop taking extra long, like it jumped in line and said, "Watch this."
Yep, for sure. It's nice when that happens though sometimes because you start feeling a little defeated by stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I just need to step away," and then something else works, and you're like, "Oh, this is great." It's rare.
Yep.
But
well, Trevor, you said you had a couple more questions for Mike. So why don't you want to do that now before we jump into the question of the week for our closing segment?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I've talked with Mike some. Mike is from an area of California near and dear to my heart. So, Mike, my questions are: A, have you visited a taco truck, aka your favorite taco truck, lately? Like, what did you get? B, and C, would you like to shout them out? Because I'm living vicariously through the loss of not having that factor in my area.
Man, funny you say that. I just picked up taco truck for lunch today. Vallarta Taco Truck. I've been going there for like 28 years. Yeah, I think I started dating my wife then. It's been also a staple in my life. Their carne asada is amazing. I got him. He likes the 50-50. He likes the El Pastor and asada 50-50. Their asada is amazing. But yeah, no, it's if I were to show you like the speed dial on my phone of how often I call them, like I don't know if you can see that. We won't look at all the dates. It's a lot. It's so hard. It's the hardest part though is they're cash only, but you know what? They're cheap and it's amazing. So yeah. So unfortunately, they don't have that type of food in Connecticut or Missouri or Pennsylvania. But yeah, it was
well, my mouth is watering.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trev.
My soul is watering.
I'm pretty sure we could probably do pretty good at Pro Bass Adventure. We could probably get pretty close.
Yeah. We got, that's, there's just another reason to make it happen right there. The food. Awesome. Well, now that I'm nice and hungry, fellas, it's time to wrap things up with our question of the week. And this question actually came via Spotify. So if you don't know, we are on Spotify. If you also don't know, you can leave comments on our, both in video and audio format. You can leave comments on each episode. So if you only listen on Spotify, that doesn't mean you can't participate in the question of the week. So if you are listening on Spotify or YouTube and you have a question that you would like to hear answered on a future episode of the Bait Boys podcast, drop it in the comments, either or. Spotify or YouTube, you're covered. And there's a good chance that we will read it and answer it on a future episode. But this week's question comes from Chris. And Chris asks, when clear coating wooden lures Is 5-minute or 30-minute epoxy better than UV resin? If UV resin is better, what wattage lights do I need to get a good hard cure? Now, he does say wooden baits, but in my experience, I treat them both the same, wood and resin, as far as the clear coating process. So I think we can answer this from all perspectives. And so he's got a 2-part question here, really. And it sounds like he's experimenting with 5-minute and 30-minute epoxy, but also looking into UV. So we typically go guests first. So Mike, would you like to give Chris some guidance on his clear coating struggles, journey, adventure? All the
I mean, who doesn't have clear coating issues across the board? I mean,
that's why it's a good question, because I don't think anybody's got it figured out.
No, it's it depends on scale too, right? Like, I think we could probably all agree, like, a UV light resin is just one of the most durable resins I think you could put on a bait. Like, it always looks super clear. It's thick, holds everything together. To me, it provides the best looking bait that you could possibly get, but that takes a lot of time. Obviously, the lights are expensive. I think I have 200-watt UV light. I don't know. They're big. They're diesel. They may even be a little bit more than that. But yeah,
but you're doing a lot at a time, right? Like, you're doing,
yeah. But even when I was doing it before, like when I first got into it and I didn't know anything, right? I was making rats and I'm like, oh, I could use my wife's nail UV light, right? And 18 hours later, I'm like, it's still tacky. So, you definitely want a stronger UV light. You don't have to have as diesel as what I have, no. But, just your cheap little lights, you get what you pay for, right? If you get something cheap, it's going to take a lot longer. If you're only making one bait at a time, I guess it's fine. Sunlight's also a great option too if you can't afford a light. Put some UV resin on and set it out in the sun. So that's always an option. But man, clear coating's tough, right? Clear coating at scale is incredibly tough. Trying to spray or do stuff, if you got the time, you're making one bait at a time, and you can be super meticulous with the paintbrush. I don't know if it goes on much better than that. A super soft bristle and a nice UV light, but I don't know. There's a lot of good things out there that, you can just get a 2K rattle can. It won't look as nice, but if you drop it, it's not going to nick, So I don't know if that fully answers this question, but depends on how long he wants to make baits for and what he wants to invest into. But I'm a huge fan of UV resin and using a light cure, but a lot of other things get the job done. I think there's a lot of automotive options, a little bit harsher, so you got to be a little bit more careful when you're spraying some of that stuff. But that's my experience, and I definitely do not have it figured out 100% yet, right? So it's mixing and playing, and you think you have it figured out, and in my case, what works for one bait doesn't work for 260 at a time.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've never tried. Yeah, no, 260.
I top out at like 8. After 8, I'm done, dude. I can only do 8 clear coatings in a day.
Well, what about you, Anthony? Since you're already talking about your clear coating limitations, why don't you jump in on the answering Chris's question here? So he's asking about 5-minute, 30-minute or UV, and what the best UV setup is.
I don't like the 5-minute and 30-minute because it's a 2-part and you have to mix it, and then you're kind of limited on time. Sometimes creates a lot of waste, and also it's not as forgiving because, like, if you have any type of little issue, what do? It's a curing while you're trying to fix it, like, whereas UV, you could brush it on, and if it's not laying smooth, maybe you could hit it with some heat or whatever. Dry it a little bit cure it a little bit in the UV, and then brush it again. It's a lot more forgiving, and it definitely gives a nice crystal clear coat, but it has its downsides too, which is, time if you're brushing it on. I tried spraying it on recently, which is seeming like a good option, but I'm still trying to figure that out completely, so I don't want to get too into that and get it where it's screwed up. But definitely UV, in my opinion. I have 400-watt, like, they're probably like 2-foot strips in a box, and it's lined with foil, and only don't use mirrors. Mirrors don't reflect UV light, I found out. I didn't know that, but foil does. Yeah. It seems to work pretty good. And they were on Amazon for like $50. They were nothing crazy, but they get a nice coverage from all four sides. Today, I sprayed these for myself with a Rattle Can K matte clear coat, and I'll fish these things for the next 2 years, and they'll probably be fine. The problem is you're hand making something, so you want it to be like top notch, and I think the UV resin really like gives it that nice smooth coat.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Nice.
I even answer?
Trevor? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trevor says,
That's you.
all right. Trevor, yeah, I like UV resin. I've tried 2-part epoxy, and I'm not real fan of it because, like Anthony said, you're restricted to the time, and I like to work a little more comfortably. So I use UV resin. I have 200-watt lamps in there, and everything's smooth for the most part. But let me just stress, clear coat sucks. There's like no short, fast, good way around it. It sucks. Just accept that before anything. And then I think temperature matters too, because I noticed like if my room is too cold, that it doesn't work right. And if it's too warm, it doesn't work right. So I always play with the thermostat a little bit, but that's just me.
That's what's
That makes
nice
sense.
about having like a hair dryer there. I feel like it gets too thick and then you start getting fish eyes. If you get too thin, it gets runny, and then it's like any sharp corners or any detail, it starts peeling away. It starts pulling away from. But that's what's nice with the UV. You could sit there and play with it for an hour. It's not going to cure until it goes in the box. Unfortunately, but also if you spent, like, say you carved the bait for 3 weeks and then the clear coat gets messed up because you put on a 5-minute epoxy, it didn't have enough time, and then it just like the whole thing's garbage.
Yeah. No, and for what I understand, I think Chris he's been making a lot of baits. If it's the Chris I'm thinking of, been making a lot of baits and has reached out to me a couple of times about clear coat stuff. And if it may be a different Chris that's also having a similar issue, but that's why I'm tying the two
Jesse, there's
together.
only one Chris in the whole world.
But there's 7 Matts. No, but I would say avoid 5-minute altogether. Right. So if you want to go the 2-part epoxy route, there are some great 2-part epoxies out there. Obviously, the go-to for everybody that swears by 2-part is True Coat. Or at least that's what everybody loves True Coat epoxy. It's specifically designed for lures. It's pretty tough. You can get a really beautiful clear coat with it. I would say if 30-minute is the slowest curing you can find, go with 30-minute. Just be careful that, like, I have 30-minute epoxy that I use for certain things, not for clear coating, but just for like attaching certain things. And it's yellow, like it dries yellow. So just be careful that, but whatever 30-minute you're using is, and again, you're limited by that time frame because it says 30-minute. You don't have 30 minutes to do it, right? Just like 5-minute, you rarely have 5 minutes to where it's actually workable. When they're talking about those curing times, they mean until it starts to harden, not to where it's spreadable on a bait, right? So it's not, you have maybe 2.5 minutes with 5-minute and maybe 20 minutes with a 30-minute epoxy, maybe. I've also used the Alumilite Quick Coat 2-part, which I actually got some pretty good results from that, right? You absolutely have to have a rotisserie. Don't try to do it without it. And it takes 3 days to fully cure, but
Jesus.
It will. That was the first thing I used as a clear coat when I started making baits. Was I went to Walmart. They sold it at Walmart, and that was the only thing I could find, and it was relatively inexpensive compared to some of the other 2-part clear coats out there. And so I bought a little kit of it. I still have the majority of it because I only used it like 4 times, and so I realized that UV resin was my savior when it comes to me being incredibly impatient. So I've been using UV resin exclusively for the majority of my bait making life, and I've gotten great results with it, right? And it's like Anthony said, it's more forgiving. You have more time to work with. Like, until you expose it to UV light, it's liquid, and you can mess with it and adjust it. And I have done what you've talked about, Anthony, is like just kind of cure it for a few seconds and then pull it back out and start, brush another thin layer over it. That saves my butt more often than not. And I've also found that if you do it, like if you build it in thin layers, you get a really good result out of it too. But yeah, I would say I would agree with all of you. UV is the way to go 100%. And in my opinion, that's from a small scale to a big scale. Like it saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of wasted baits because your clear coat dried weird. And now it's hard and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's just, and it gives me like, I don't have to wait 3 days to touch the bait so I don't leave fingerprints. So it's been something I've been using exclusively for a while. My setup is actually, I need to upgrade because I built my UV box when I was just tinkering, and it's very small. It's like yay big, yay tall. And it has two 60-watt lights in it that are in the top. And I actually did line mine with mirrors, but not glass mirrors. I got the peel and stick mirror, so it may be a little different because it's maybe just like really, really shiny foil. I don't know. So I got the inside of it lined with that, with those 260 watts, and I probably overkill it, but I don't cure anything less than an hour and a half. I know it says it's cured in 30 minutes, but I don't like to leave anything to chance because it could always go wrong. Just when you think you've got it all figured out, it can go wrong.
6 hours.
6 hours. Every bait.
Yeah. I've left them in there for 10, 12 hours because I forgot about them.
Yeah, I have a timer in the box. I just hit the max, and then sometimes I hit on, and it's on for like 3 days. Everyone does it different. I see your judgy eyes, Trev.
But it's the most durable I've found. It's the most, and it's far less expensive, depending on what type you get, but I don't get the expensive kind. I've had great results with it. I've never had an issue with it. It doesn't crack unless you're really just pinging it off of a pontoon or something, like fishing around a dock. I've not had anything get damaged that was just from wear and tear after using it. So that's my 2 cents on the whole thing. I think UV is king when it comes to that. There may be things out there that can give you a better automotive. I've never even messed with that, but that's probably, spraying on automotive, that's probably a step above that. But as far as small time bait makers go, I think that UV resin is always the best option, personally. Yeah.
This could be a whole episode. So
it could. It really could. We may need to do that.
I think we answered it pretty good. It could
Yeah,
be a
I
whole
think so, too.
series. It could be our whole lives.
It sometimes is. Depends.
It is our whole lives.
Yeah. But that was our question of the week, and oh, what a doozy it was. I'm sure there will be a lot of opinions out there. So why don't you, if you don't have a question of the week, why don't you tell us what your preferred type of clear coat and or UV setup is in the comments below. But gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Bait Boys podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was doing so good. Thank you so much, Mike, for being here and for sponsoring the giveaway for this week. Don't forget to enter that. And we'll leave a link to the Instagram and all of Mike's socials and website in the description below. So make sure you're going and following there. And any final thoughts, closing words?
No, thanks
for joining us,
Mike. See you in Mexico.
See you in Mexico. All right. Well, thank you all for sticking through with us to the end. And as always, we will see you next time.
See you in Mexico. Taco truck.